Am I the asshole for telling my husband his gift for his son won't be received the way he wants it to be? My husband Rich and I have been married for 15 years. We have 2 children together, ages 13 and 11. Rich has 2 children from his marriage to his late wife, May. My stepkids are 24 and 23. My stepson is the oldest, stepdaughter is the youngest. When Rich first found out he was going to be a father, he started a scrapbook for his son that had photos and written memories and little mementos added in, that he continued throughout 25 years. He did the same for his other 3 children as well. This book documents everything from fun memories to sweet and heartfelt ones to even some more heartbreaking ones, like the loss of May. My husband has decided the scrapbook will be his gift to his son for his 25th birthday. He included all sorts of family photos and moments in this scrapbook, including since we got married and had our kids, but both my stepkids have been pretty clear that they do not have a fondness for me or for their half-siblings, and they have no trace of us in their homes. When he moved out, he left behind photos he was in that included me and my children, his half-siblings. And when my husband mentioned he had forgotten some photos, my stepson replied he had double and triple checked and had everything he wanted. My stepdaughter was a little more clear, and she actually tossed any unwanted photos in the trash before she moved out. On their social media, they post family photos, but funnily enough, they never have me or their half-siblings included. They never acknowledge us online at all. My stepkids both also said they'd like it if their dad didn't bring us, because if he's visiting, they'd like to see him and only him. My husband brushed off that comment by saying he could stop by on his own too, but they'd never see the rest of us if we didn't visit. I'll say right here, I was not an affair partner, nor did I ever expect the kids to forget about their mom or replace her with me. Nor did I expect my husband to. I did not push myself on them. The kids never spoke out against us getting married or brought any issues to me or my husband about us. And we did talk to them. It really only became apparent after they became adults. So when my husband brought up that he was going to gift the scrapbook to his son for his 25th birthday, I asked him if he was sure, and he was like, why not? His son would love it, and he couldn't wait for us all to go through it together. I told him I wasn't so sure he'd love all of it, given his refusal to have photos of me or the kids in his home. He told me it's not like he could remove them. I didn't comment. He asked me what I expected, and then asked if I thought he'd rip those pages out or something. I said yes. He asked why I was being so negative, and I told him that, given the last several years, I really didn't think the gift would be received the way he's expecting. My husband told me my negativity was too much, and he was unhappy with me, thinking of his kids like that. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your hubs is in denial, as others are saying. I think it might be best to let it go at this point, though. Hopefully the son doesn't destroy the scrapbook. I don't think he'd destroy the whole thing. I can see him tearing out pages that mention or have photos of me and the kids. We should mention the only reason your husband is able to remain in denial about this is you are the one who is being punished for existing. Your husband doesn't deal with shit treatment from his kids, you do. Why are you allowing people to treat you this way? And why are you allowing your husband to act like it isn't happening? His wife is being disrespected, and he's been acting for years like it isn't even happening. That's not husband material. That's little boy material. Not the asshole. Your husband has his head buried in the sand. Have you all done family therapy? In the past, yes. Not recently. Am I the asshole for shutting my ILs down when they brought up issues with photos of my children's mom in our home? I, 46 male, have 2 children, Fia, 13 female, and Kale, 10 male. Their mom died 5 years ago in a car crash. We had been married at the time, but only legally. For the last 3 years of her life, we were pretending to still be together. And we stayed married, but it was all pretending for the kids. We did not want to divorce for our kids' sake. Both of us came from divorced families and what I consider broken homes because of how badly our parents handled the divorces. We didn't want that for the kids. We feared we couldn't do better. The end result was us hating each other. It ran deep too. I regret that now. The last words we exchanged were not kind. Our kids deserved better than that. Better than having parents who hated each other because we were so afraid to divorce. So after she died, I was determined to let go of all that hate, and I was determined to make sure the kids knew they were loved by both parents and were not burdened by the issues we'd had. Their mom and dad both love them. I truly believe their mom's love still exists for them in them, and they deserve to know that love. That was what I focused on. So I saved everything of hers for them. It's all stored safely for them one day. And a couple of years after she died, I did remove most of the photos of our married life, but I let the kids keep 2 photos of their choice out in the open in common areas of the house. The rest are either in their room or stored for them with the rest of her stuff. My kids love and miss their mom so much, and it brings them comfort to have her photos out. I make sure they can always talk about her or ask questions. They also have a very close relationship with the 3 siblings she spoke to. This is my children's home above all, and I make sure it always feels that way. When I met my wife, I remarried last year. I told her about the photos and said a partner of mine needed to accept this. She did. We got married. Nobody has taken the photos of my kids and their mom down. But my ILs do have a problem. And maybe they're speaking on behalf of my wife and she's not open. I'm still figuring that out. They were staying with us at the weekend, and during a dinner, they questioned my kids about keeping the photos out when my wife now lives with us. My kids said they like having photos of their mom they can see in the house. My ILs began to say that it was inconsiderate of my wife and they should not be in common areas when I stepped in and shut them down. And I told them that this is still my children's home too. And part of that is displaying photos of their mom in their home where they can be seen. I told them it did not need to be discussed more. The following day, my ILs said I had no reason to be so rude, and I had an unhealthy attachment to keeping their mom present in their lives when she's dead. They told me they should be allowed to question things about their daughter's home, and I overreacted. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your current wife knew that they would stay up. It kind of seems like your IL are trying to erase your late wife from existence, which is not okay. You were completely right to shut it down. If you were nicer about it, they might have just kept pushing. I would make sure that they know if they are uncomfortable with it, they don't have to come back to your house, but the pictures are not coming down. And if it is coming from your wife through them, she should have decided it wasn't okay with her and she should have moved on, not get upset later down the road and drag her family into it. That's how it appears to me as well. The tone they used suggested that my wife should be enough for my kids to not want or need their mom's photos anymore. My wife and I are going to be discussing all this. If she's not okay, it needs to be aired and not kept and told to others for them to intervene on her behalf. And if it's not from her, then I would like to think she would also tell them to stop. Not the asshole. I find it difficult to believe your wife wasn't asked about the photos before the ILs brought it up at dinner. That means they will have known why they were on display. They would know that it is something that you are quite adamant about. That being the case, bringing the subject up with the kids in front of you was a low, divide and conquer tactic, since they knew they get nowhere with you directly. They were being extremely rude themselves, and trading on and hiding behind the social norms of don't make a fuss. They were directly interfering with how your family works. You refused to play ball, and their rudeness got slapped down. It's more than a bit rich of them to accuse you of being so rude, given what they were doing. Yes, and I will be honest, I find it gross questioning children about having photos of a late parent in their home. Even adults do it, though some prefer to put them away, but we don't question them like that. But to try and convince a child that it's wrong to want them displayed, or to treat it like they shouldn't need them now that I'm remarried, it just feels gross to me. It's disgusting and shameless what the in-laws did. Your kids are 10 and 13 years old. WTF. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.